So here we go. If everything starts the. You can just chop that.
Well, we can just edit it and just go ahead and go whenever you want.
Welcome to Unhinged Magi. All right, we're up to 3 of 2.0 FaB. Wait, what?
Yep. Third video of the FaB 2.0 update.
I'm getting kind of over this.
From LSS.
All right, first things first. Everyone wants to congratulate James Weiss for giving out so much detail.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I definitely got to call this out. I mean, Rudy mentioned it also in his videos, and he's right. Like, I've never seen a CEO of a company, and this includes even all the tech companies I've worked for, just so clearly just lay out, like, hey, here's exactly what we're doing. Here's what was good. Here's what was bad.
Here's where we screwed up.
Oh my gosh. You know, the openness was amazing.
I was actually very impressed. And he laid out the numbers too. So
yeah,
I was
really
I was just like, oh my gosh. I was like impressed. And then he actually had his own little timeline. He knows, well, not timeline, but he knows where his path and objective is going to be.
Yep. That was incredible, honestly. I've never seen that before. It was extremely good.
Wizards of the Coast would never tell you anything like that.
Yep.
Guaranteed 100%. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, they all stay. Don't tell anybody.
You know, that doesn't mean that I agreed with everything he said or his perspective on everything. I don't. But there's a lot, you know, that even if I disagreed with it, I really appreciated him saying it.
Exactly.
Because it gives me insight into what he's thinking, which gives me insight into where he's necessarily going.
Which actually gives us validation for actually, you know, probably reinvesting in some of those old cold foils and that kind of stuff.
Yep. That's a legit thing because apparently those old cold foils are not just going to get destroyed.
Exactly. That's what's fantastic too.
And that's like called out. It was largely called out in the video with Rudy also. But even in the statement that he made for FaB 2.0, there's talking about like the cold foil reprint policy. But here it is quickly summarized, guys. He's not going to reprint cold foils that were reprinted as cold foils in the older sets.
Which is beautiful for those of you who have the older sets. Even if you're actually talking into the Monarch range and Trials of Aria and even into Everfest, those cold foils are solid. All right?
Yep.
That's
and
one thing you can really count on, which is great.
Whatever the market bottom is for these box prices, and I don't really know for all of them. I have guesses on which ones have bottomed and which ones haven't.
And we've talked about that in the previous video.
Yep. But whichever ones like have bottomed, that might be a good time to buy those boxes because if, in fact, the player base does keep growing and people want these old black border versions of cards and they want the cold foils, they've got to go to those boxes. And as that player base grows, then those become actually more valuable.
Yep. Just like Black Lotus's Power 9 and Dual Lands, it takes a matter of time, patience, and practice. But that is if it stands the test of time. So as it stands the test of time, the beautiful thing is you already have the cards and you already know their reprint policy. They're not going to print any more cold foils. So technically speaking, you could actually go and buy some of the cheaper cold foils now because some of those have really tanked in price. You can even go to TCG Player and using our link below, go at those things and hold on to them. And because if you believe the player base should grow, you should put a couple in the back burner, right? And stick it in a little box, and then eventually you'll open it up, and they'll have millions of players, right? If you believe in his plan, that is technically what you should be doing.
With cold foils.
With cold foils specifically.
Yep.
You can also do it with actual boxes too, right? Because we have cheap boxes now. We have one below map.
Cheap first edition boxes.
Right, and they should eventually go up. And if you just stick that in a box underneath your floorboard and wait for 10 years, it'll be worth something.
Yeah, because remember, guys, like at the peak of bearishness on an investment sometimes is the best time to buy. Yep. And the bearishness has been pretty bad lately for Flesh and Blood for lots of valid reasons, right?
Yep. So let's say you go and buy an Everfest box, look at Revised, right? That sat at like $36 for like 3 years. And that was in 95. And that's when I bought some of mine. Really good thing to buy. And then lose and sit on it, and then we just dump.
$36 per box, you're saying?
Per box, yeah, it was bad.
Revised?
They were dumping it, yeah.
It was $36 for a revised box?
Yeah, in Denton, Texas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But remember, no one was buying Revise because Revise sucks.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, you walk into a store. Well, most of the time they're trying to get it for 50. But if you make a deal,
14 grand.
Now they're 14 grand. Yeah.
Oh,
so
gosh.
that's a thing that you can do. Buy it now for cheap. Hold on to it. Sit it on it. Just forget about it. Play with your other cards. Forget about it. And eventually, as time goes on, then you can bring it to market.
But remember, guys, like this doesn't come without risk, because you're doing that into the current scenario with the best knowledge that you've got, that we're trying to bring to the table to help you understand. There has been some rug pull a little bit on some collector investor
True.
kind of mentality. So just know that going into it. But yeah, it could actually end up being a decent thing. But the cold foils.
Yeah, but think about this. You buy, an Everfest box on TCG Player for $76. You shove it in a drawer. In 10 years, you might have a $1,000 box.
Yep. And listen, worst case scenario, it goes to zero, right? Well, if you spend 76 bucks and you got something in a drawer, it's not the worst thing in the world. It was only 76 bucks.
Yep, there you
go.
go.
So you're not going to lose the farm for that, something like that.
Exactly my point.
Yep.
All right, so now let's go on. I want to talk about the actual numbers for the actual cards.
Okay.
Okay, so we have Fable Cold Foil. Then this is for Uprising, the newest set. This is what they're going to do for their breakdown. So Cold Foil Fable, we don't know. Legendary Rainbow Foil Fabled Rainbow Foil, we don't know. Legendary Cold Foil, 1 per 220 packs. Oh my God, that's so rare, isn't it, Edwin?
That is actually more rare per pack.
Per pack.
Than it actually was for
That's
Everfest.
fantastic. Look at that, 160.
Here's Everfest was 1 per 160 packs.
Wow, that's amazing.
So on a per pack basis, they are in fact more rare.
Exactly, and it's considered per pack basis. However, if you crunch the numbers, you will see that it's the exact same averages that you have, well, almost exact same averages.
Per box.
Per box, yep. Right? So there's 36 packs in a box now. And
for
then they
Uprising.
have 24 packs before, but
yep.
Now it's 36. So when you look at these averages, you can see they're just sticking more packs in the box. It's actually, per box is easier to get a cold foil out of Uprising, a legendary cold foil out of Uprising, than it is per box to get it out of a Everfest box.
Because of the number of packs per box.
Right, but it's 6.66 repeating for Everfest and 6.1 for Uprising.
Yep, that is an interesting point.
But it's per box. So really they just shoved more packs into the box. And as CEO of Flesh and Blood, I would approve this because you know why?
Why?
I want to sell more packs inside my box so I can charge larger prices. But I don't know their price point yet. Once I see their price point, I might have to renege this because it might be the same exact price you're paying now, right? It might be.
Yep, we'll have to see.
I don't know. But if they charge more, then as CEO, I would definitely be like, good move. Because that's how you make money.
For sure.
So just because there's more packs, they're just giving you extra packs of stuff that, isn't going to be like whiz bang, tickle me Elmo kind of stuff.
Now, I do also think there was a whole discussion. We did a video a little while ago where we were talking about Flesh and Blood did these, I forget the name of them. They were like the Challenger deck kind of decks that they built.
Yeah.
And they put a cold foil into those
I remember that.
Challenger style decks.
That was the video they announced that they're moving towards a player game.
Yeah, and so we made that video and we said, we were keying off of the verbiage in that article saying like, hey guys, they're targeting more players than collectors, which actually did turn out to be the case, by the way.
Correct.
That actually was the direction of the company, so we weren't off base there. But anyways, adding a cold foil into like these Challenger style decks kind of cheapened the purpose of cold foils in our eyes.
Yeah, true.
And so if LSS is getting rid of first edition unlimited division and they're going with just this one print, however, James White himself said he wants to like kind of realign with cold foils being something very special.
Which this does.
Which,
no question.
I hope he follows that up by not putting cold foils inside of, like, you know, if you walk into Walmart and like you see a pre-made, pre-constructed deck like hanging on a little hook in like a blister pack. I hope that doesn't have a cold foil in it, because that really cheapens cold foils, honestly.
Well, what if they put? Okay, let's backtrack that. What if they put it in one of those booster packs, hanging in a blister pack?
What do you mean? You mean like a collector's edition kind of thing?
No, I'm talking about collector's edition. I'm talking about they actually put these inside. They just take the box. They ship the boxes to their company. They rip open the boxes. They stick those packs inside blister cases and send that off.
So you're just buying booster packs and
just individual
boosters
packs
in blisters?
Yeah.
Then what's the question?
You said that you don't want to see cold foils in blister packs, but if they have them straight off the assembly line and they're considered boxes...
Sorry, I wasn't talking about booster packs. I was talking about pre-constructed decks.
Oh, specific. Okay.
Like a challenger deck.
Yeah, okay.
Where like every one of them comes with that cold foil.
I don't like that
right on the top. That's what I was talking about.
Unless, of course, what would you accept it if it was a unique cold foil that is not in any other product?
Probably not, and here's why. Because every time I have ever seen, there's like some kind of like pre-constructed deck, challenger deck kind of thing, and it's got a foil, anything you want in it. Every single time, those foil cards always end up being just garbage in terms of value. Like, I've never seen one where there was like a a foil card inside of a pre-constructed deck, and they put it right on the front, and like, here you go.
They never.
And then that card ended up being like a $50 card. Like, I've never seen it.
No, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, so that's my point.
Unless you're looking at the
So
vault.
if LSS wants cold foils to have that kind of desire, then don't do that anymore.
Well, if they had to do that, they'd have to do it like a limited print run. It'd have to be like $16, right? And then they wouldn't do that because that's no longer what their model is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
They can't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly the point. Yeah. So
no commander decks, basically.
Yeah.
With cold foils.
Well, with cold foils. Go ahead and make pre-constructed decks, just like if you want cold foils to be special. Your opinion, not ours. If you said that, LSS, if you want them to be special, don't put them in pre-constructed decks.
Correct. Yep. And then, all right. So on top of these numbers things, though, what do you think the ratio is going to be for the FaB cold foil? Do you think it's going to be more packs and same amount of boxes, just like the others? Or do you think it's going to be even rarer?
Since they upped the rarity per pack on these, I think they're going to up the rarity per pack in a similar kind of fashion.
So it's
still going to be 40 boxes.
Right.
That's what I think.
So what I think is they didn't really change much. They just added more packs to the box. So
if I was going to run that math while we're here, so 36 times 40. So in 1,440 boxes. Packs. Sorry, yeah. 1,440 packs.
That's an estimate. Okay, cool.
Yep. That's what I think the Fabled is going to be.
Yeah.
Probably.
That'd be a good probability.
Yeah.
Now, none of our information is sound, as you can see, right? Okay. But you can do the simple math here.
Yep.
You know, we got one cold foil per 24 packs, and then the other one is
Yep.
1 in 16, right?
Yeah, 1 in 16.
Yeah, 1 in 16
was the cold foil in the
So if you do the math on that, it's the same principle. You have 36 divided by 24 is 1.5, and then you have 24 divided by 16 is 1.5.
Yeah, so so the ratio is the same.
The ratio is
per box.
Per box. So per box. So they really just made the box bigger. So you could. I have a feeling that the price point will go up.
So anyways,
but that's just a speculation. I have no control of that.
So yeah, I'm happy with the openness of James White and LSS in the 2.0 listing, and I'm happy with how they're continuing forward and reaffirming rarity and cold foil. So good job, LSS, on both of those topics. Yes,
absolutely. And this information is actually really good.
Yeah,
nothing was hidden. It's straight up in your face, and I love it.
Yep,
it's fantastic.
Okay, good job, guys.
Good job.